I'm Victor Margiotta, and this is the Community Show. The show that takes you on another level, a level of community. You know, the family is the cornerstone of the community, and the community is the cornerstone of society. So it starts with the family. It starts with two people raising children, giving them morals, giving them direction, sending them off to school with the ability to learn. You know, it's so important that the kids be disciplined at home rather than at school. It's not the job of the teacher to discipline the child. It's the job of the parents. The parents' job is to send their children to school ready to learn. My guest tonight is Patrick Maloney. He is a fine, upstanding member of our community. He's going to talk a little bit about where he is from, talk about where he worked, and how much he loves this community that we live in. I love this community. I love the people. I go to church. I know everybody in church. I go to the local A&P. I can't go to the A&P without knowing at least 4 or 5 people. It's just part of what being a member of the community is about, being involved. My neighbors are all people I love. I would do anything for my neighbors, and they would do anything for me. That's what the community is all about. Patrick, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
And why don't you talk a little about the community that you grew up in?
Oh, sure. I grew up down county down in Yonkers, and it was much like the area I live now. I live in Montrose.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty suburban,
Yep.
believe it or not, even though it was a city. And it was a great experience, a great community. You always hear the cliches about the neighbors looking out for you, and even when we were youngsters, if we were getting a little, maybe in a little trouble,
Mm-hmm.
nothing serious, they would straighten us out, and quite sure they would tell my mother and father. But it was, you could walk down to the corner. We had a old school luncheonette, with the soda fountain and all. I ended up working there myself several years later, and that was a great experience too. And we had neighborhood schools,
Mm-hmm.
so you could walk to school. The church was right down the block, and that was a tremendous part of my life.
Yeah.
I didn't know it at the time, but that was a fantastic foundation, and it's just it was a real neighborhood.
Yeah.
Real
That's funny
neighborhood.
that you mentioned the church. I went to church my whole young life, and it didn't really click until after I got out of college. Then it all really made
Yeah.
sense to me. But it's just a matter of absorbing all that knowledge. It's kind of like putting pieces together of a puzzle, and then
Right.
finally you get the whole picture.
Right.
So you almost got to force the kids to go to church.
Absolutely,
There's no two ways about it. And
in my opinion,
yeah.
absolutely.
Tell me about your father.
Oh, sure. My father, he had grown up like 2 blocks from where I grew up,
Mm-hmm.
and he was a firefighter for the city of Yonkers,
Okay.
and he was a guy that was always working at least 2 jobs.
Yeah.
Crazy, he was a firefighter. He painted houses,
Mm-hmm.
both inside and out. He worked at that luncheonette I talked about. He worked at the drugstore up on the hill.
Yep.
He delivered phone books. He delivered Gain soap powder, and he also, what was the last job? Oh, he worked at the Gimbel's candy counter during Christmas. So that was 7 I could come up with. Always out hustling.
Yeah. Yeah.
But getting back to church,
Yeah.
we went to church, and he was there too.
Yes.
So very important. He was a good man.
Yeah.
Good man.
Well, we all started. We were altar boys, and then we
Sure.
were servers, and then I did the lecturing.
Mm-hmm.
But it was always part of my life. And like I said in the beginning, if you asked me, do you want to go to church, I would have said no.
No.
But my parents pushed me to go to church.
Yeah.
And now it's a big part of my life.
Absolutely.
And now I teach religious instructions. I work 6 days a week, but I still find time to volunteer. I volunteer my time. I'm volunteering my time right now.
Right.
I'm introducing you to the community.
Right.
Somebody that's a part of the community, that it's involved,
Right.
that has something to say. And the biggest thing now is that I think people have to start getting more involved. There's no two ways about it.
Yeah. Don't be so quick to condemn or be negative. I had also done the CCD, taught it as a sub, going back a couple of years ago,
Yeah.
same parish.
Yep.
And what saddened me was to see the children that were coming in right at the end of Mass just for the sole purpose of going to CCD.
Yeah.
And I guess their parents dropped them off. And I'm not here today or any time to judge.
No, of course
But
not.
what's the point?
Yeah.
What's the message? That's all. What's the
Yeah.
message?
Yeah.
And that was enjoyable. I just did it when people couldn't make it. It's good.
Now you became a fireman. What was
Oh yeah, well, Dad was a firefighter, and
Okay.
it was something I always wanted to do.
right?
So after high school, I went to high school in Yonkers, the Saunders Trade School, the public school,
Yep.
and then worked some odd jobs while taking a stab at Westchester Community College, but I wasn't ready
Okay.
for college. And eventually, at the age of 20, I used to have another great neighborhood guy. Dr. Jacobs was a dentist in the neighborhood. And he used to say to me, he says, they take all you Irish guys and they throw you in a hole. And whoever climbs out become firemen, whoever stays in the hole become cops. So I stayed in the hole, so I became a cop at the age of 20. It was a good time because I knew everything, 20
Yeah.
years old. Never really wanted to do that job, but it just came up for me
Okay.
first. And it ended up being such a fantastic experience. I worked with some terrific
And
people.
what, the city of Yonkers?
The city of New York, in the
Oh,
Bronx. And
okay.
I worked with some great people, met a lot of good people, some bad, but mostly good.
Yeah.
And learned a lot, learned a lot. It made me realize there's communities other than where I grew up,
Sure.
and they each have their dynamics,
Now, were you a B cop or a?
I did both.
Okay.
Probably for the first, I was there for 7.5 years. For
Right.
the first 3 years, I was, primarily riding around in a sector car, answering calls and
Yeah.
things like that. And it was good learning experience. You get to meet the best of humanity, the worst of humanity, and a lot in between.
Yeah.
But I always, to me, I always walked out of work feeling grateful.
Yeah.
Feeling grateful that maybe I did something good today.
Yeah.
Maybe I did something good.
Yeah. And then you
Oh,
decided.
then I did. I'm sorry, Vic. I did the. They had a program back then. It was called CPOP, Community Police on Patrol, all beat cops.
Right.
So the whole place was broke up into areas that you could manage on foot, and it was really dynamic because you really got to know the people.
Yeah.
Again, community, right?
Sure.
You attended, neighborhood meetings. I would stop by the schools, maybe go to various assemblies at the schools, the businesses, the civic groups, and you got to hear maybe perhaps people having certain problems in the community, and to the best of your ability, you would address it,
Sure.
and maybe make it a better place. It
Definitely.
was great, yeah.
And then you became a fireman. How did that
Well,
happen?
yeah, like I said before, that's something I always wanted to do because
Okay.
I really looked up to my dad, and he'd come home sometimes smelling like smoke, and yet the stories were just priceless. He used
Yeah.
to talk about it at the dinner table, and he'd talk about this guy and that guy and things that he experienced, and it's just something that it was a dream.
Yeah.
So I finally got called for that job, and after
Would you have to take a test?
yeah, I took the written test and the
Right.
physical and all, and 7.5 years, so I was about 27, 28. I took that job, and it was another great experience. It was terrific. Different, but
Yeah.
great.
And where were you stationed?
Oh, I worked on Central Avenue across from the racetrack for about 5 or 6 years, and then
Yeah.
my wife became pregnant with the twins.
Okay.
So she was having I thought maybe it'd be nice if I was home at night, because although she had a pretty good pregnancy, it was still twins. So I took a job temporarily in the office doing fire prevention inspections.
Okay.
And so I took that temporarily till she had the babies. 12 years later, I was still there. I ended up staying in the office because I ended up getting promoted there, and I became the public information officer. So we did a lot of work with the schools on trying to educate the children how to, prevent fires.
Yeah.
And what to do in case there was a fire.
Okay.
We had, believe it or not, I did a puppet show for years. That was terrific.
Yeah.
Then we had a trailer we used to pull around that was like a little, it was a mobile home that we could fill with smoke.
Yeah.
Of course, it was non-toxic smoke,
Right.
We show the kids how to get out.
Yeah.
And
Crawl.
crawl low, and
Yeah.
what to do in case, God forbid, your clothes caught on fire. The roll, stop, drop, and roll.
Yes.
And then I did a lot of. It wasn't just isolated to school-age children. We did a lot of work with the seniors, again, the businesses, civic groups, and I'll say it on your show because I'm here.
Yeah.
Number one main thing to have in your home is working smoke detectors.
Okay.
Working. I can't tell you how many fires I've been at where
If they just
places wrecked, destroyed, and even a couple of fires that involved fatalities.
Yeah.
Where we checked the smoke detector after, and the battery was
Anyway,
popped or it wasn't working. So very, very important. Pretty passionate about that.
Definitely.
So, and then my last couple of years, I went back to the firehouse. I worked on Kimball Avenue. It was a great place, great bunch of guys, and I retired in 2012. Very good. Great.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
That's
it
excellent.
was nice.
Now, there seems to be, thank God, less house fires. What do you think the biggest contributor to that is?
Oh, I know
Just
for
the
sure what it
fact-
is. Smoking.
Okay.
People just aren't smoking like they used to.
All right, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at. I even remember as a kid. My parents. Well, not so much but my mother smoked. It seemed that I remember my medical doctor smoking in the examination room. How classic is that, right? It's weird.
Yeah.
But he did.
But,
It's
remember
just a
all the
different
old
culture.
movies?
It's a
Everybody
different
smoked.
culture.
It was, yeah.
So people are not smoking in their homes
Okay.
the way they used to.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's been a drop in although electrical fires have increased because there's so many electrical devices today.
Oh, right.
Just think about phone chargers. Probably any normal family probably has 4 or 6 of them plugged in. Not to say that that's going to cause a fire,
No.
but it's the things you put in the wall, the strips, the outlet strips. People make mistakes. A number of years ago, there was a fire in Jersey, somewhere around, I want to say Elizabeth or the Oranges, where it got hot one day, real hot, fast,
Yeah.
in the spring. So the family ran out and bought an air conditioner, and they popped it in their window, and then they went out and plugged it into an outlet that was rated for less than they should have used.
Right.
It was like an extension cord, rather, I should have said. It was an extension cord you might want to use for one single incandescent lamp.
Yeah.
You don't want to use that extension for a toaster oven or a microwave or an air conditioner. Well, unfortunately,
They put the air conditioner.
the electrical cord got very hot, melted, caused a fire, and I think 4 people died. So that's stuff you wouldn't normally think of.
Yeah.
Very important.
Definitely.
So
So, you're retired, but you have 2 kids. How old are they now?
My boys are 15. They'll be 16 next month.
So they're going to be looking to drive soon.
Yeah, they'll be looking to drive. And I used to tell my friends at work, and I tell everybody today, if you really want to see time fly, have kids. Then you're going to see time fly.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
I know.
You know.
And they're doing well.
Oh yes, they go to Hen Hud High School. One of my guys is on the JV basketball team. The other is on the varsity team. And they just had the Jack McGuire tournament this past Thursday and Friday. He was a young man who in the 4th grade unfortunately passed away from leukemia.
Yep.
And they started a tournament. I believe his parents started this tournament. And it was incredible. And ironically, this year was the first year that Hen Hud won the championship. But the reason I say ironically is because this is the year Jack would have graduated.
Right.
You know, so it was really good. That really strong community event. I saw people there that you just went there to go, to support it. A lot of people that I know from the neighborhood that were Hen Hud alumni. You know, News 12 was there.
Yep.
You know, it was a nice, really, really nice event to keep his memory alive, you know.
Yeah.
It was good.
Now, being an ex-police officer, what are your thoughts about the Ferguson shooting?
Ferguson shooting. Well, this is my opinion. This is a man that had, prior to the incident, went into a store and took some property that didn't belong to him. I believe they were cigarillos or something. And upon leaving the store, the owner, I saw some video. The owner pled with him, you know, don't go. You didn't pay for this. That's what I got out of it.
Yeah.
And this guy Brown just pushed him out of the way and went on his way. Now I understand that this police officer, I want to say his name was Wilson, came upon him at some point, and I guess he was in the patrol car, or there was an altercation.
Yeah.
And the cop unfortunately ended up shooting this guy Brown, and the grand jury met behind the shooting, and the officer was not indicted.
Yeah.
And what troubled me about a couple of things about the whole issue was the chaos that ensued after that. There was riots.
Yeah.
And you know, I can only report what I see on the news. There were riots, and they burnt down businesses that were part of the community.
Sure.
You know, and the other point is that the people have called for a different system. Like, maybe it should be different. That we shouldn't have a grand jury. Maybe it should be different for police officers. That's baloney. You know, I don't know the merits of the case. I wasn't sitting there.
Yeah.
But the people from the community felt that the officer was within his legal right to do what he did.
Right.
And there's no doubt in my mind that there were professional agitators on scene that caused a lot of problems there.
Yeah.
And it's a shame.
I know.
A real shame, you know. So that's I feel bad for the guy that got shot.
I do too.
Feel equally bad for the cop.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't know. It's easy to jump on the bandwagon in a case like that and create further strife and hatred.
Yeah.
You know, because that's what's happened. You know.
You know, I got to admit, I am spoiled with where I live. Like I said, I know all my neighbors. You know, I mean, I could leave the door open. You know, I leave stuff out in the yard. You know, I'm never worried about anything, you know, and my neighbors are looking out for me. I'm looking out for my neighbors. This is where I grew up. I've been living in my town for 50 years. And, you know, like I said, I go to church with these people.
Yeah.
You know, they come to my family's restaurant. And I only hope for the best for people.
Me too, yeah.
I am so grateful for the things that I have.
Me too.
My father worked very hard all his life. He raised 10 kids. All 10 of us are doing great.
Yeah. Well,
and,
that's good.
Yeah,
It's a blessing.
it is, and it's just hard work and respect for other people. These are things that I am taught, and if you're not taught these things, then you don't learn these
No
things.
way. No.
And it's just that's what community's all about.
Yes.
Getting involved. Helping the old lady down the road.
Yes.
And how did you find Montrose?
Oh, how did I find the area?
Yeah.
I was looking for a place to live because I was just about to get married, and I was looking. I wanted to move up north a little bit.
Yeah.
It was a money issue at the time.
Yep.
And I was looking like in Yorktown and Somers, like along the 202 area.
Yeah.
And my brother-in-law, who had been a firefighter in Mount Vernon, was good friends with, and somebody that's watching this will know this name.
Oh yeah.
The mayor of Montrose, Jody Carroll.
Hey, Jody.
Jody, hats off to you. Said Jody told Joe, why don't you tell him to look in Montrose? So when Joe told me Montrose, as a youngster, I had tenants. We had a two-family home. Tenants that were had children that lived in Montrose. I said, Montrose? That's way the hell up the country. Because I remember sitting in the car. It took like 3 hours to get there, But we ended up, that's how we settled in Montrose.
Yeah.
What a great community.
Oh, sure.
Goodness.
Well, Larchmont is upstate.
Right, Larchmont's up. White Plains was upstate.
That's compared to.
I know. It's all relative.
Buffalo is upstate.
I guess so. Yeah, Buffalo's upstate. Yeah, we got a little snow recently. A little bit.
Oh my gosh. But so what are you doing now in the community?
Well, I drive a school bus part time now. I love it. I did something that I did back in the '90s as a substitute.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Yeah.
Bring the kids to school and interact with the parents, and it's just another part of being in the community.
Yeah.
Community, and it's good.
Excellent.
I like it.
I hate to bring up these issues, but it is part of what's going on in the news. And you can't help. Like I said, I try to help out the community as much as I can, and I still am concerned about what's going on in the world. And you can't help but feel for people. Like I said, I only wish for the best. But there was an incident on Staten Island.
Oh, Staten Island, yeah. That was the fellow who was selling cigarettes illegally on the street.
Yeah.
And it was allegedly the police that were there put a chokehold on him.
Yeah.
And he fell to the ground.
Right.
And he ended up passing away. And my personal take on that situation is that, and I'd given this some thought, and then I read a piece in the paper about Senator Randall Paul out of Kentucky.
Yep.
He wrote exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
The state and the city jacked the cigarette taxes so high that these people are out there selling them illegally.
Yeah.
And that's apparently what this guy was doing. And then the cops are told by the politicians or to go out and bust them for it.
Yeah.
And this guy was out there doing that. And the cops came up on him, and he wouldn't comply.
Yeah.
Which goes contrary to what I know as, and this is going to sound crazy, but it is what it is. When I was a police officer, we were taught you don't put your hands on anybody.
No.
That's why you have certain implements, a nightstick.
Yeah.
The culture is so whacked out now, though, that I'm quite sure the cops are afraid to strike somebody with a nightstick.
Yeah.
My point being, if you told this man that he was under arrest and he wouldn't put his hands behind his back and he wouldn't comply, and he took one shot with a nightstick to the shins, it's over.
Yeah.
Don't abuse. I'm not saying use unnecessary force, but
Right.
handcuff him and arrest him.
Yeah.
The guy's dead.
I know.
He's dead. You know, it's a tragedy.
It is.
You know, but it's just like the whole. There's a lot of cameras around today. You just better accept that.
I know.
Accept it.
Yeah.
You know, I always thought there was a camera. I know somebody's always looking. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, of course.
Right? So you know, you could do the right thing, but I mean, well, and I do have a lot of. It made me proud the other day because now he was also, the police officer involved with that was not indicted. All right, Staten Island grand jury. All right, and there was a lot of noise behind that too from. Politicians and certain groups and stuff, and a lot, you know, and I think maybe perhaps they were hoping for a remake of what happened in Ferguson. But I was very proud of one of the top commander of the NYPD was on the news, and he said, "Listen, everybody has a right to protest. We're not putting up with that. We're not putting up with what went on out there.
Yeah.
We're not putting up with it."
Right.
And I said, game on, good.
Yeah.
It's the way it should be.
Yep.
You know, you don't want to destroy neighborhoods and people get hurt and killed. It's a shame.
Yeah.
You know.
Definitely not.
So.
Well.
Tragedy.
Yeah. This is the Community Show. I'm Victor Margiotta. I want to thank Patrick Maloney for coming on, and you know, these are issues that you know, we deal with every day of our life. You know, it's in the news, it's on the news, it's, you know, you go on Facebook and everybody has an opinion.
Yeah.
And it's you can't get away from it. It's a fact of life, and you know, I've got no ill will against anybody personally. You know, and I'm just, you know, it's the government and, you know, the police are doing their job.
Right.
And it's a shame that things like this have to happen.
Yes.
But as a community, we should pull together and, you know, and
Yeah. You can't put an old head on young shoulders.
no.
Yeah, I wish we could.
Yeah.
You know, because this head would be expensive. You know.
All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on.
Oh no, thanks, Victor.
You know, and Patrick, somebody in the community, and if you see him at the A&P now, you could say hi to him, or
Right.
ShopRite, or, you know, I like the A&P. That's where I go.
That's where you go.
So
That's good.
ShopRite ain't bad either.
No.
Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the show. You know, if anything, don't complain about what's going on. Get involved. You know, there's so many outlets, the Rotary Club, the Italian Club, the Irish Club. There's a lot of ways to get involved, and it makes a big difference, especially voting. You know, just get out and vote. Let's get some good people in there, you know. And I think that's what I'm trying to push. So thanks for watching. Thank you so much.